It's a good time to be a dragon. I've played a few games on the PTS with Drogoz, and I gotta say, they made him feel really good to play. Between the lag compensation on his rockets, salvo and fire spit, and salvo of course no longer bugging out, Drogoz really is a blast character you can rely on. The lag compensation undoubtedly makes him feel a lot better. Ever since I started playing Drogoz, I always had those moments where an enemy just took a rocket like it never even fired, or ran through a detonating fire spit like it was a blast of water. They weren't incredibly common, I'll admit, but they certainly didn't feel all that good when they happened. I haven't had any of those moments during my time on the PTS. There were actually some times where I was kind of surprised that something hit because I wasn't used to it being that reliable. I've gotten a lot of max damage fire spits lately, you know, the 1k damage ones and not the 999 ones. Kinda forgot you could get 1k damage on a single fire spit before this. There was also some rocket AoE I wasn't used to hitting landing as well. Drogoz's AoE on his primary is pretty small though, so it wasn't more than 100-200 damage, but it was still nice to see it hit regardless. And the salvo, oh man, salvo always working as intended is so nice. You don't have to worry about key opportunities disappearing because RNG decides to screw you. If the enemy is grouped up and they're making the mistake of paying you no mind, you're gonna be rewarded with a lot of damage and a lot of ult charge. No more of that one rocket crap that makes you waste time, opportunities, and a powerful abilities cooldown, and hey, it may even get you killed. Now, while the difference is pretty noticeable, I wouldn't say it's on the scale of Bomb King at all. A lot of people have been worried about Drogoz being the next Bomb King, but there are some huge differences here. Bomb King's AoE was huge when he got that lag compensation. You could win duels with people while hiding behind a wall and not even looking at them. It was the dumbest thing. He was basically a first draft must pick at the Masters Land, even for teams who didn't even have BK players. With Drogoz, you can't do anything dumb like that. You still gotta put yourself out there when firing the initial rocket. When you peek as Drogoz, you gotta commit to it. While with Bomb King, you could barely peek at all and basically be completely safe while getting the kill. Plus, Drogoz has plenty of people who can duel him even when he's in the air. Any good hit scan can take him down, and even some good projectile characters can take him on as long as they lead their attacks properly. Any good hit scan can take him down, and even some good projectile characters can take him on as long as they lead their attacks properly. If you don't have one of those on your team, that isn't really a reason to complain about Drogoz. It's kind of a core aspect to any good team comp after all, almost as much as having a support or frontline is. A good Kinessa can make Drogoz's life a living hell, and when I say good, I don't mean the kind that stands still in the back of the map away from her team, living in her scope the whole time. No, what I mean is a mobile Kinessa that swaps up her positioning and is aware when people are making advances on her. A good Andro is also a Drogoz's worst nightmare. As a Drogoz main, I can say there is nothing I fear more than an Andro that constantly harasses me and hits me. I haven't actually seen many complaints about Drogoz at all. I've mainly seen people saying how they don't want him nerfed like BK and how he's fine. I have seen people say he's OP, but most of them go ahead and make a point in saying that they always felt like he was OP, which couldn't be further from the truth at all. He can do a lot of burst and a lot of AoE with his kit, but that isn't something that's impossible to get around. Fire Spit travels very slowly, so if you're paying attention, you can get out of the way before he detonates it. Even if they do pick the card in their deck that makes the Fire Spit go faster, it isn't going to help because it makes it much harder to detonate the Fire Spit the higher you go with that card. It is a pretty bad card in all honesty. His salvo isn't really something that's reliable to use if you're not in the air because of its spread, and since the Drogoz normally is in the air while using it, you have a window of opportunity to see it coming down and get out of the way. It's really just all about being aware, and nearly every character has a movement ability to get away with anyway. As for his legendaries, Fuselage is something people like to complain about because of how much it does, and I'll admit, I don't really feel like any flat damage boosting legendaries should be in the game, but I cut ones that require some skill, some slack. You know, some ones that aren't like Def Hastens. Ones that are like Godslayer and Fuselage. They do have to land direct hits after all, and if they pick that, then they're going to be pretty slow and a lot easier to deal with if they aren't constantly playing safe. It's really only a card that's meant for busting immobile tanks anyway. Then there's Worm Jets. Since this makes him faster, it does make it a bit harder for people to hit Drogoz, but not too much harder. His hitbox is pretty big, especially when you take into account his entire tail is part of it, and he has a big tail that just hangs straight down while he's flying. So I guess what I'm basically saying is you can deal with Drogoz if you have the skill required, like how you can deal with any character if you have the skill required. I'm sorry, but I'm not big on people complaining about a character and getting them nerfed because they don't want to learn how to deal with them or they don't want to get better so they can deal with them. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and it's not really something that's healthy for the game. The goal is to make every character viable and not push more and more characters out of viability. Now, I am of course a Drogoz main, so you could say I'm just defending him because I like him. I promise you that if something is a problem, I don't go defending it blindly. And who knows, maybe with some more time, he may prove to be a problem. I don't think so, but we'll see. He does take a good amount of skill to play well, unlike some other jetpacking rocket wielder. I mean, no hate, I just wanted to make the joke. What do you guys all think about Drogoz? Do you think he's too good? Do you think he's just right? Was this a good decision? Was it a bad one? Yada yada. Let me know in the comments below, and that's pretty much it. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye!